This is going to be a review video on the Herman Miller Embody and what my thoughts are on the Embody compared to the Fern. Obviously, I'm sitting in the Fern right now. It's my primary office chair. I've had it for about a year or so, and I really enjoy it. I think it's super comfortable. There's a couple minor issues in the Fern that I've felt and have been echoed through some of the other reviews that I've watched. But the main reason I'm doing this Embody review today is most of the reviewers, and again, I'm not trying to take anything away from some of the reviewers. There's some really good Embody reviews out there. The issue that I dealt with was how I use my Embody and really how I use my gaming chair in totality. One of the big things that I found is I really enjoy leaning all the way back in the chair and putting my feet up on my gaming desk. And you'll see a video, or you'll see in this video, kind of what my setup looks like and kind of how I use my current chair. It's like a Office Max type chair. It's been probably at this house for about 10 years. It's got a lot of usage and it's completely destroyed. So that was what made me kind of dive into the Embody review sphere in YouTube. And again, I'm only doing this review because some of my questions were not answered in their reviews. I wanted to do a review of the Embody that would answer some of the questions that I had that hadn't been answered. So hopefully this video does that. Again, I'm not some YouTube content creator. I'm just a guy in my office and in my gaming space, which you'll see. And I'm just trying to give everyone an opportunity to see how the chair is in my space and what my usage of that chair is. And I touch a little bit on some of the problems that I have, right? So the Embody is a great chair. I don't want to take anything away from the Embody. It does suffer from some problems. It's not without issues, and you'll see those issues in the review of the Embody itself. And the same with the Fern. The Fern is not without issues as well. The Fern, I think, having sat in it for about a year, is a wonderful chair. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. But there are some things that the Embody does a lot better than the Fern, and then vice versa. There's some things that the Fern does that the Embody just can't do. And really, for the price point, I was lucky. I was able to get the Embody for about $1,400 on one of the sales they have, and it's really something. One of the reviews I watched years ago when I was looking at chairs is get involved or get yourself on the email chain for the Herman Miller and any of these chairs, because they have these periodic reviews. For me, one of the issues that I dealt with the Embody is I wasn't sure when watching these reviews if the Embody leaned back enough for what I like to, or for how I like to sit in a chair. I did see the Anthros chair, and it looks really cool, and it does have the tilt function that I was looking for. But with the price point of being over $2,000, again, I was able to get this Embody for under $1,500. Spending an extra $500 on the Anthros chair, for me, just it didn't seem worth it, especially with the uniqueness of the design. It seemed like there was a lot of people that were doing reviews that said it took 2 or 3 weeks to conform to the chair, and I don't have time for that, right? Again, I'm sitting in this chair for about an hour a day just to play video games at the end of the day. I don't have 3 weeks to get into this chair. I'm not a YouTube creator, where I'm sitting in front of a computer for 12 to 14 hours a day like some of the YouTube creators. I'm just a guy that's trying to play video games in a very comfortable chair for an hour or two every night, or every other night, or every third night, or whatever it is. So that was kind of the impetus behind this review. Hopefully I've answered any questions. If I didn't answer any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and I will certainly address it in a follow-up video. I'll probably do a follow-up video anyway, with just kind of how has the chair been 6 months or a year from now, kind of like I'm doing with this Fern. And that's it. So thank you again for watching. Hopefully I've answered all your questions. And if there's something else that I can answer, please leave a comment. All right, so this is the Herman Miller Gaming Embody. There's been a lot of reviews online, but I haven't found them to be helpful for my purposes. I had a lot of questions about some of the functionality and kind of how I use it in my use case scenarios. So I wanted to take everyone through that. One complaint was casters making a lot of noise. I'm just going to move these around, and you guys can be the judge of if this is too loud or just right. I heard one, or I read one comment rather, where someone said that the casters made like a metal sound. I do hear that, but I don't think it's really going to bother me, right? I'm really exaggerating the motion of this chair. At no point would I really do something this extreme, right? If I sit in the chair, it's really not noticeable, right? You're just kind of taking these short, kind of slow moves. You can hear it a little bit, but I'm not going to be moving around this much when I'm actually in this chair. All right, so one of the big things and one of the big issues that I had when reviewing was I like to sit in a reclined position with my feet up on my desk, kind of like so. I also like to game like this. And there were really very limited reviews of this chair being used in this method or this manner. I understand that this is an ergonomic chair, but for my purposes, it was really just about comfort here playing video games, right? I don't have a lot of time to play games. I just want to be comfortable for about an hour or so. What I'm finding is it does have a very good lean back, but the lack of 4D armrests for me is kind of a deal breaker. I'm holding my controller just like this, and my elbows just keep falling off of this thing no matter what I do, right? So I can sit up, ergonomic. This is a great position. My arms are perfect. They're not going to fall off. But the second I lean back and start bringing my controller into play, and they're really falling down. So I have to almost exaggerate my position to play. Last thing I want to touch on is the noise from the back. There were a lot of people making complaints about if you move in the chair, does it make noise? You can get close, and I can't hear any noise from this as I'm moving. Like, it doesn't have this crinkle noise that other reviewers are talking about. I don't hear anything. The only thing I hear is sometimes the caster when it moves, or the seat all the way in the back position, the metal hitting as a stopper. Other than that, that's it. So this is a Haworth Ferm. I got this as an office chair for my home office about a year or so ago. Just because the price point was a little bit better than the Gaming Embody. And really, I mean, if you want to take a close look at it, it's a stunning chair. I mean, it's so much more beautiful than the Gaming Embody. I know that's going to be personal preference, but with the metal arms on the bottom, it really pops in the right setting. I think against the gray here for my house with the blue, it really is a stunning chair. As far as functionality in relation to the Embody, it doesn't have that good lean ability that I like. There were a lot of people talking about this gap down here between the seat and the backrest, and it is a problem for someone like me that likes to kind of game in this position. I do feel that void, so that's one area that the Embody definitely does beat the Fern on. The area though that the Fern just really destroys the Embody is these armrests. They feel so much better. They have this 4D functionality. I can move these all the way back. I can move these in. At no point are my elbows going anywhere. They're totally locked in once I find that right, that really good position. And as far as comfort, all day comfort. I mean, the seat pan is really, really nice. The back is really nice. This would be my go-to chair if it didn't have this break here. I know people said you could move the seat pan back more. For me, it doesn't really work. If there was the ability to have the Embody and the Fern make a baby, and come up with some amalgamation of a chair that had these armrests, this lower portion with the backrest and seat of the Embody, it would be the perfect chair. So between the two of them, I think the look is so much better. I think the edge in comfort goes to the Embody, but I really got to knock the Embody on some of the looks and the 4D arms.